folks, the first thing they do when you go to them is they look at your blood. They don't care what name of the condition you have, they want to see the blood. And they look, and here's what they see. They can tell right away if there's a lot of bacterial, viral, fungal, parasites, heavy metals. The good scopes can see these little white dots. People that are healthy have a lot of little white dots that are moving really fast. That's called the somatid, or the bion. People that have a lot of health challenges, a lot of acidity, those little white dots disappear. And what they found under these high-powered scopes is those little white dots morph. That somatid goes through 16 different life cycles. When they're in a regenerative state, they're in little hexagons. Pure energy, hexagon. In fact, so pure that they have found those somatids on mummies. Thousands of years later, they have found living somatids. That energy of the blood lasts for very long periods, which is not news. Many traditions and healing systems say the life energy of the blood is like the sun. It's very, very long lasting. Well, what they found is that when people's blood is very acidic and stressed and toxic, that cycle it shifts and it turns into a degenerative state. When it gets degenerative, this is, by the way, not just New Age myth. There's some famous doctors. One of them is living in Canada named Gaston Nassans. Gaston Nassans, you know Gaston? Yeah. He's like one of the top pleomorphi. In fact, he is notorious. He is one of the primary people. He developed a condenser lens that goes. Most people with life cell scopes can't see this far to see those 16 life cycles. Gaston developed a condenser called the somatoscope, which when he puts it on a high-powered scope, he can see that 16 cycles of the somatid. Well, guess what? When they degenerate, guess what they turn into? Germs. Viral, fungal, bacterial. So the goal of the pleomorphic school of medicine is the goal is to change the situation back into a non-pathogenic cycle, to activate that somatidian regenerative state in the blood. So a lot of people I work on, they might come to me with a disc injury. Huge amount of people with degenerative disc situations. I do unwind, nothing. I do quantum, nothing. I get them on pleo. They take a big breath. They start to sigh. They start to unwind. You see, so when I work with people, it's not for me to diagnose or assess. All I do is I get them unwind, quantum. Now in the pleo program, someone asked about what we do in the light. The pleo program, what we do is we digitally process the light into the hexagonal state. We turn it into the hexagon. You can't see it, but it's in a hexagonal array to try to activate that somatidian energy. I tell you, you ever feel like you're coming down with a cold, infection, pleo right on the thymus gland? We fly a lot. I constantly pleo, activate the immune system. Works great. So many conditions I work on to me nowadays with all the stuff going on right now. There's a lot of low-grade mycotoxins. There's all sorts of new fungal, bacterial kind of combined breeds that are happening. There's all sorts of weird things going on. The solution, from my perspective, don't be concerned with them. Be concerned with activating the latent systems of the body. The body is very well adept to activate white blood cells, stem cells, lymph. Lasers aren't the future of medicine. Lymph is the future of medicine. People right now are living their lymph systems not even active on this planet, largely because of chlorine. Chlorine is like the antidote to lymph. Literally. What is lymph? Lymph is high-spinning electrons. The reason that lymph is so powerful is lymph is not solid, liquid, or gas. It's ether. Lymph to me is high-spinning ether, like the space of the universe. Well, you have some problem with heavy metals or some gas. Lymph, when it's on, goes over to that area. Guess what? Rock, paper, scissors, ether beats gas. Because the electrons are spinning much faster. Ether is what weaves solid, liquid, gas. Space. So the key from my perspective is to activate lymph. And the easiest way to activate lymph that I've found on planet Earth is to be in still point. Everyone drop in. See, we're in there already. See, here's the secret. The secret is there is enough energy in a pinprick of space. You can blow up a lot of stuff. Consider how much energy there is in the whole space of the body. The only thing between us and this infinite state of energy are all the things that people are holding on to. All the beliefs and the judgments and the ideas and the impressions and the injuries and all these things step that energy further and further and further, distracts it. That's why the yogis often say, you try to pin a yogi down and, they're often very, where are you from? Oh, no, I don't know. What's your name? Oh, I don't know my name. They can't recall where they come from, likely. They simply understand that setting up that process of identification leads to the step-down process away from this infinite state of energy. And so they choose to not own any structures, which is a very attractive condition. Sorry, that was just poignant. I couldn't jump into that. So, that said, though we are also here embraced in the form, and I'm enjoying the capacity to enjoy structures, and also, to me, I love structures so long as they're not, you see, as soon as a structure is fixed and won't drop into still point, it's a problem. And the last age was latent, loaded with structures that didn't want to do a full range collapse into still point. So I'm fine with any structure as long as at any wish and moment it's free and welcome to drop in and dissolve. And then I'll come back to the structure. Well, great. It's a great structure. It's fine, comfortable dissolving and coming back. Yes?
I have a question. This hits on one of my I realize, as I'm learning more, I work in image medicine too, but
Beautiful.
I'm learning more and more about the human body, but I finally have this dawning realization that I am a self-sustaining generator. The one I've been looking at for Tesla for my whole life. Where is it? Where is it?
Yes.
Oh, and so when you said that about the limb,
Yes.
I'm like, oh, so instead of getting on a trampoline and externalizing the movement of the limb,
Oh, yes.
so on a still point, when you get into the 0 point field and you become a Tesla generator and they're generating and the still point is moving the limb?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great question. It basically, for me, the reason I'm constantly dissolving into still point, when I'm in still point, I feel my lymph kick in. I feel white. I feel this nonlinear information activates nonlinear systems. Cranial system, the lymph system, the white matter, the glands, the cell energy along the spine. Those are the nonlinear systems. And you want to keep the linear systems, the personality, those are emotional structures. Those are the linear systems, which a lot of people are referencing their faculty around those in the last age. Well, you want to activate nonlinear systems, go nonlinear. Constantly be in the nonlinear state of the quantum field, and that's going to naturally kick in. We also do a process called quanticize, which is a movement process to activate high spinning ether, and 4-part process to activate subtle. In fact, right before here, I just did a live stream to our network where we did a whole quanticize session to enter into the new season. So maybe we'll touch on that in a moment. Before we finish up, we'll do a moment of quanticize just to. It's like the rebounder, only to me, it's way subtler and finer.
It's a very beautiful add-on to still point.
Oh yeah. A lot of people, when I first start, it sounds like to me, still point.
Still point is nothing, but healing means you feel that you're tapping into it.
Totally. Totally. To me, it's just a doorway. Still point is just a doorway that opens. It's like open up this and walk right into the whole new nonlinear state of the universe. And then we have a whole lot of different facets. We have a whole process. We might do a full day seminar next week where we go through the entire process. This is more of a kind of
That would be great.
sharing.
So love that.
Are you here next week?
Yeah.
We may do something on Saturday next week, a one-day
Fabulous.
full training, if we're looking at that. Because we do a whole process of how navigating from the quantum field. So to me, let me explain like this. Linear thinking in the old season was the operating system. I don't use that operating system for the new season. To me, this quantum field is the operating system I use. And when I drop into still point, I hold it, it just pops open this field. And from this field, we have a whole process, manifesting from the quantum field. Abundance from the quantum field. Diet, detox, quantum field, hygiene. To me, the hygiene right now is not the hygiene of the body. It's the hygiene of the field. In my life, I'm constantly trying to do different things to activate and keep this field open. Because we got neutrinos coming at us, we got solar flares, we got EMFs, we got a lot of people cooking us with emotions they're trying to hook us into. We got, cell phone towers, we got toxic paints and everything.
Chemtrails.
Chemtrails. So to me, the only solution I could come up with, and I don't want to trip out about any of them too much, is quantum field. I look at it, hey, let's go right to the source. Underneath all that stuff is essence of neutrality. So for me, this is like the fruit. This is the seed, and this is the fruit. And every day I pump up the fleshy fruit so that when I interact with someone and they're tripping or they're coughing, it's like, okay, good. As long as I joke with people, it's like, I fluff this thing up, and what's the problem? Anything that's got a problem, it has to dissolve before it gets to here. If I've done the work of cultivating this field, if I don't do that work and I go out in the world, then I get snagged. And then I gotta go back and take a moment, figure out, okay, it has to do with this, okay, clear the fruit to dissolve it, and it takes me a little while. If I'm proactive and I make sure this field is nice and open and right, in my world now, I'm constantly trying to make choices. Navigation, quantum field navigation. I make all my choices from this quantum field. I don't make any choices from linear thinking. To me, linear thinking breeds another round of linear thinking. If you want to really manifest, get clear what you're manifesting. Because if you manifest from your thoughts, your next manifestation is going to have some thought in it. You manifest from your emotions of what you really want. Then your next manifestation, it might be good, but it's going to have some more of that. I want my next moment to make sure, I only have one goal for my next moment. That I'm in neutrality, because when I'm in neutrality, there's flower, essence up in other words, my goal in every moment is to be literally activating energy along the spine, flowering into the bliss nectar of the universe and beyond. So when someone comes to me and says, you want to do this, or you want to do this, I say, okay, great, let me consider it. And I just check in with my field. And I see, if I consider doing that thing, does my field contract, or does my field open up? So for me, I don't even do it now. Now it's clear as day. Right when it's happening, my field either goes like this or it goes like this. Constantly, I'm just letting my field guide what's happening and all the choices. I don't use pendulums, I don't use kinesiology. I just use this field, the state of the field. It works fantastic. I can't imagine traveling here on this planet without, it's like a baby goes to something hot, says, someone wants to do business with you, or someone wants to, give you, something. And if they're in a state of polarity, well, guess what? Doing business with them is going to create some polarity, some karma. I'm really clear. I don't want to create more karma here. I want to manifest neutral expression. Karma comes from the past. Expression comes from the future. So really important to get nice. Let's do a process real quick around the quantum field. How are we doing here?
Great.
Let's do one process, then we're going to do some smoothies. And then we're going to do something else. Yeah, and then we'll do maybe a little break. That sounds good. That sound good?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let's do one more protocol. Real quick, let's do an alchemy protocol. This is one of my favorite protocols. Let's do a scalar wave activation protocol. The body has its own natural scalar state. So here's how we do it. This is such an easy protocol. I love this protocol. So go ahead and start, pick the program you can do on Wind. I'm going to start on Activate. I do a lot of alchemy protocols on Activate. And I am starting on the right leg. So each leg, I'm going to start right here on the right side of, you can start at often I'll put it on the ground, I'll start at the foot, you can start over your foot, or this is about activating the right side. These are called nadis. In the East they call these nadis, or currents. This is the medical symbol. This is the medical symbol protocol. I do this protocol, is just, I can't tell you how many people I work on. Once I unwind people with the laser, and they're unwound, it's so clear to see how certain people fixate towards one current. One current's on, well, their left brain's always on. Or one current's on and they're always in this creative zone. If people are lucky, they get a partner who's got the other side going pretty good. Which is the truth if you look at your relationships. In any event, the point is, the goal is to have both currents strong so that both sides have a nice, good flux. So every so often for me, I like to do this. I start right here. I'm on Activate, feels really good. I'm just going to let the energy build up and charge up and come up this central pathway. Then I'm going to start from here. Often I'll tuck it kind of right under next to the tailbone. Tucked right under, near the perineal base. We have lots of protocols. We have organ balancing protocols, detox. We have 4 or 5 main protocols we do. The unwind, colon cleanse, lymph, organ. We do a 1 day next week. We'll cover all of them. I'd like to cover all of them. So from here, I'm going to weave. I'm going to go up the spine. Just very gently. Close the eyes. I do this in public. Don't ever be concerned about anyone. I do it in airports. My view is people are thinking aloud already. Let them think about something interesting. You'd be amazed how many people come up and say, "What's that? How do I get one of those?" I've sold numerous lasers by sitting in some place in Thailand or somewhere else, and someone's like, "I need one. What is it?" I'm not kidding. I kid you not. Our top emissaries in our community. One woman told us recently she was at the post office and she had some pain. She took it out. Person behind her bought a laser the next day. I tell you, bring it out. Use it. People are drawn to light as a panacea for their challenges. All right, so I'm now coming up this central column here. As I come up, I'm going to the right nostril. Right nostril. My favorite places to work is the nose. I do this a lot, this protocol, and I do it with the still point process without the laser a lot also. So when I work for a moment over the nose, it's like a straw. It just pulls up energy. Just whoosh, activates it right up the spine. And then as I go from the right nostril, it cuts over here and goes to the left cranium. Whew, that's good. Notice when you feel your body shift and go non-linear. For me right there, my body, we call it still point response. I just kind of shifted and dropped in. And move it around a little bit. You know, don't be shy with this. The key is trust your experience. Move. Be like a child. This is like a light crayon. Just play.
It just went off.
Thank you. We were in Boca recently with a big group, a couple hundred people. Went off and I kept going saying, "Oh, that's great." It did feel good.
It becomes an extension of your hand.
It does. And who cares how it feels good? As long as you're feeling good, who cares? It's worth it. Even at this price, which is not cheap, if you can start feeling good without it, who gives it back?
Like that
For
Woody
me, it's
Allen
worth it.
movie.
The first laser I ever bought, I financed it, put a couple $100 down on it, financed it, and laser's best investment ever, from our perspective, and that's just our perspective. All right, so thank you for telling me that.
We could let you just
You
keep
could have
going.
let me go. That was in Florida. They just let me go. That's why we're here.
That's Florida.
They're
Just
very
let you
sweet.
go.
They're very sweet too. What's that? Good air. That's the air. That's real good. No. All right, that's good. So that's I'm on activate right now. Now I'm coming down to the left side. Just doing that left side of the brain for me, that totally opened up and
So did you wind up and come back down, or are
Nope.
you coming back up?
just came right back down to the left side. That was the right side nadi. If you want to see really good pictures of these, the yogis have mapped these out. They call them nadis. Google nadi and hit the picture. You'll see really cool pictures of these central nadis. In India, they say, now, yogis aren't the only ones. Many traditions refer to these. There's one on the right side, there's positive, there's negative. Whenever they intersect, they create a chakra. They dissolve, they open up and this is why it's so important for a lot of people have one strong one and one that's kind of weak. Well, guess what happens? When you have one strong and a weak, when they intersect, it undervitalizes a region. Then people often, when they have undervitalized regions, if you notice where people's main health issues are, they almost always correlate to the regions that are the most undervitalized. So this is why keeping these two currents nice and strong is really important. And when they both get strong, it opens up what they call the central column, the neutral column, the sushumna, or the staff of life. I tell you, this is in every tradition. Anyone study electrical engineering? You study circuit boards? I tell you, You could not create something that looks more like a circuit board than the subtle anatomy of the human condition. All these nadis, a larger nadi, a central nadi, little crystal oscillators, the teeth, different organ capacitors, different kind. This is like a very well, skillfully designed
Oh, it's like the Sephiroth.
piece of equipment.
It's like the
It's
Sephiroth.
completely far out. Okay, I'm switching to a program called Cohere, which is a little further down. I often do this when I do alchemy work. And again, I'm just on the left side right here. I'm on Cohere, and I'm very gently going to start to weave my way up, until I come up. And just kind of traction it, go real slow. When I do this, I go real slow until I kind of feel it start to move on its own. And then I'm coming up to the left side nostril. This works really good too if you have the violet probe or the probes. I do this with the violet probe a lot, it's fantastic. And when I do the violet probe, I go in the nose, shoot the light right up to the pineal pituitary. You want to boost your immune system in a major way, activate your pineal gland. The pineal gland governs the thymus. No faster way to activate your immune than through the pineal. So in any event, anyone else feel that? That feel nice?
Yeah.
That's something they call here one?
Yeah. I feel that right away. I feel my sacrum kind of kick in.
And I felt a wave start from my sacrum, and
Yeah.
just go right up my spine.
Yeah.
just there.
This is like this is training. We're training our subtle faculty to start to work. From the left nostril, I'm going over to the right side of the brain, right side of the cranium. This is great. I tell anyone dealing with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, memory issues, brain issues. This is like firing up all the areas of the brain, the right side of the brain, left side. From here in a moment, we're going to go and activate the central column in the frontal lobe. And if you study comparative religion, and particularly the esoteric, Gnostic, Kabbalist, and alchemical traditions, yogic traditions, they all understand this. It's not like there's not a growing body of research and evidence comparing and showing that every tradition understands these subtle faculties.
Yeah, it's like the Sephiroth, the tree of life.
All right, that is, now I'm going to go from the right side, I'm going to go to the frontal lobe. To me, the reason I love to activate this is when both balance, it opens the frontal lobe. And when the frontal lobe opens, studies show it activates all the white matter in the brain. This is the key. A lot of people live in the gray matter of the brain. You want to activate your supercharged part of your anatomy, get the frontal lobe opening, that kicks in the white matter in the brain. That's the superconductive part. Oh, that's nice. Whew. That's what the medical symbol, the two wings that open up. The frontal lobe opening up. All right, now I'm going to come down at the very base, and I'm just going to do one last piece. We call this the central column lotus protocol. Just going to very gently open up the flow along the central column. I go real slow, and I'm not going I'm just starting at the base as if we're watering a plant. And you're getting you go in the pot around the dirt so the water goes down to the bulb. I'm just starting real slow down there until I feel like right there, I was moving it real slow, and at a certain point I felt like a subtle kind of whoosh, and it dropped in. And then energy starts to flow, very gently inviting this energy to flow up the spine. Whew, that's nice. Anyone else feel good?
Yeah.
If not sure you're feeling good, try Unity. Unity is a great one, or Wave. Both feel great for this kind of work. Usually on alchemy work, I use Activate or Unity or Cohere or Wave. And then up. Now I'm going to very gently go around and just do a lotus. I call this lotus protocol. I just changed to Unity, and I'm going up the spine. Just activating this lotus, this amazing lotus. Universal symbol to the opening and flowering of consciousness. When I do this protocol, I very gently, I just raise the energy along the spine, activate the lotus, then I go around and I'm looking now, any trouble areas, any areas you're having difficulty with, just make a little lotus around it. You know, you have trouble with your lungs, your immune system, your blood, your organs, whatever it is. You know, every day get in the process of welcoming the areas you have trouble. So many people in our society resist the areas they have trouble. They think about it, they feel badly about it, they feel disempowered about it. Well, you can flip that very easy. Every day, just say aloha. Welcome, thank you for showing up. Doesn't mean in one day it's going to get fixed. Yet in one day, you can take something that's here, welcome it, and dissolve it. Then you do it again, like an ice cube. It very gently starts to melt. When I used to do this work, I had a couple of areas. Every day I'd welcome them and unwind them. Well, those areas took, every day I'd go there, and they were there again. I'd welcome them and unwind them again. 6 months, a year later, gone. Now there's other areas that I welcome and unwind.
What protocol are we doing now?
This is just the lotus protocol. Now I'm going around the whole outside of the field. Now I'm just going around the whole outside of the field. When I finish sessions, I always like to work. Yogis, shamans say people hold cell memory, emotions, blockages, and cords in their chakras to other people. Well, I unwind, make sure every day my field is nice and open, above the field, to the side of the field. This is really more the scalar energy that's working than the laser. The scalar energy is what dissolves, opens, and expands. When I finish, I always like to finish on the thymus gland also. Make sure the thymus is nice and open. Every session I do, I always like to make sure. It's kind of like this. If you go through life living in your adrenals, you're going to experience the body and personality. This is how you break it down. You want to experience linear, live in the adrenals, because the adrenals kick in the linear response in the body. You want to go and live in the quantum field in neutrality, make sure the thymus is where you're focused every day. Heart chakra again. And from there, pineal pituitary. That is a nice protocol. Isn't that nice? This to me is when I use the laser, this is my goal. Right here. Do a protocol. By the end of the protocol, it's like watching TV, only instead you're done, this is a remote, only this is the TV. And instead of watching something that trips you out and diverts you from what's going on, this dissolves what's going on and lands you into a state of bliss and still point and unity. When I'm done with a session, I don't like long sessions. I do short sessions. You got a knee, unwind it, dissolve it. Then stop. Then do it again. And the key to this is to find things that are like this, welcome them, dissolve them. Come back, do it again. Do it again. You do that for an area for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Those cells start to say, well, wait a moment here. You've unwound me from the state of contraction back to neutrality. I can do that on my own. All we're doing is inviting things to say, you're this, but don't forget, you're also this. And if everything has that integrity of its experience, things don't get fixated up. And this is the truth. In my journey, in my experience, we can't disregard the truth. The truth is, everything is woven from nonlinear essence. And this, we happen to be here at the moment where the curtain changes, there's a new play. And the new play is, let's get on with the truth, enough of this nonsense. None of us are here to hold in place some program that didn't even work that well. I'm not. Yes, sir.
Is there a connection between the quantum fields as you were describing that
Yes.
sounded toroidal?
And the what?
Sounded toroidal in terms of the shape?
There could be. I'm not, the way I experience it, not really. For me, and this is really important. We're going to share a new technology tonight called the Wi-Fi. And in my experience of the quantum field, it's not really, I don't see it so much. It's not like a visual. For me, it's just a state of energy that when I relax and dissolve into still point, it just, for me, it pops open. And lately, we've been sharing in our global network a new device that we're going to share with you all this evening. And when I do it with people, a lot of people at our seminars where we've shared it say that after it, they can feel this field around. The first occasion when I had our engineers helping me design it, where I did it with, turned it on with Lily, a prototype, one of our first prototypes. I wish she was here to share this because I turned it on and later for the next like 24 hours, we were driving, she's like, wow, she felt rings tuned around like this field. So to me, in my experience of it, it's a tactile kind of quality of like a field, of a body. And when I say quantum field, I don't mean the quantum field that's connected to everything. To me, that's a little bit different. When I use the word quantum field, I'm really referring to this envelope of energy that surrounds the body. It's been proven by a number of groups, not just the Russians. There's a number of scientifically respected studies that have qualified this envelope. They call it different names, biofield, a number of different names. And to me, it's not a definite thing that's the same for everyone. It's relative to what you are expressing through it. It's like the TV, the TV, TV's relative to what you got connected to, So to me, the key is to have this open so that we are no longer coming from the past and we're in a nonlinear state. And then what we do with it as conscious beings, in other words, who we are. What are we here to express? And my view is we're all unique. I'm certainly not here and I'm not looking, for some teacher to say, oh, okay, everything's here at this same place. We're all unique flowers that express the essence that, like the flower, each flower expresses through its glands, through its fragrance, through its colors, that unique essence that is why it's so special. And the human condition to me is the same. We all come here with a different array of our sharing. And so to me, the quantum field is so unique because it to me is like the garden which we cultivate, which allows that flowering to naturally start to happen. That was a really sweet protocol. I want to just say thank you because I just love it whenever I get a moment to dissolve into such sweetness. So thank each of you for being part. And I can see, when I finish doing sessions on people on the table, there is a specific thing that happens. With every person, I wait. When someone's face up, I wait. The breathing settles and the face lights up and go. And almost every one of you right now is in that zone. So that's really sweet. Doesn't that feel nice? This is when I'm done with the protocol. When I'm done with the protocol, I put the laser down and then I just bask for a moment. I just say, let's rest here
Yeah, I see that.
and saturate this. And if I can find throughout my day 2 or 3 good junctures where I can tap in and get here, to me that's a good day. Literally, I look for those moments. I'm really busy, so I'm not always just sitting around like this, Kind of wish I wasn't. I'm doing a lot. And I look for the moments in between all the things that I'm doing. Those to me are the precious moments. I would have very much liked to. I tried to. I had some teachers and people that were sitting in caves a lot. I tried to. They said, no. You can go. So for me, I'm fine being in the world and doing lots of things, so long as I have a lot of transitions. When I'm driving here, going there, and I say, okay, I just put the brakes on, still point. I say, everything's. It could be in an elevator and someone's talking and I'm really going like this. Maybe I nod my head a little bit, but I'm really going. It could be in a meeting and as soon as someone else knows something and I just say, good, they know what they're talking about. You got good engineers, you figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, that's good, yeah, that's great. So look for those transitions. The more you do it with this, I tell you, I did it with this a lot, now I do it with this a lot. Same thing, technology. Same thing here, I do 3 or 4 things. Same thing here, 3 or 4 things. I either welcome things, something comes at me, I say, oh, aloha, welcome. That doesn't do it, I say, okay, let's drop into still point. I'm in a situation that's not having the right effect with someone, I say, okay, that's not working either. Let's activate some energy along the spine. That doesn't have an effect, I say, okay, let's activate some ambrosia. I tell you that, when I activate ambrosia in situations where there's a little trouble, that one's almost consistent. The situation suddenly, we were live streaming today, and there were some people beneath us, they were having a little party right under our live stream. At the end of it, it had gone on for a while, and they basically wouldn't readjust. And so at the very end of it, I finished the live stream, and I turned around, and part of me was like, it was a great live stream, and yet there was this perpetual. And then I said, okay, geez, I could turn around and and I just kind of activated that nice and up into here. And I turned around and looked at the guy, and it was just, he smiled. It was just like this complete dissolution of the whole drama. I used this relativity to change that outer phenomenon. Really, really empowering from my perspective. Whether it's the laser, whether it's the perception, having, to me, the great opportunity on our planet right now is flexibility. It's not one state, nirvana, or some other thing. That's still linear. It's the ability to get flexible, to be in every moment. Oh, okay, this is not working, no problem. Let's try something else. The still point process is 6 steps, 6 different things that, for me, I'm constantly navigating around. Again, I'll go through them again. And they're all on our new website, stillpoint.com. First one, welcoming things. When you welcome things, I tell you, this is a secret. This is the total secret. When you welcome things from the place of neutrality, they unwind. Problem is, that the caveat is it only works if you're in neutrality. If you're not truly in neutrality and you welcome it, it's not going to really unwind. If you are in neutrality and you say, aloha, welcome, it's going to unwind because underneath every single thing, great manifestors, we are blessed in our community. We have Reverend Michael has a laser, Shaka Khan, who we had an amazing testimonial from, thanks to Lucretia in the back there and Joe. I saw that testimonial she gave, unbelievable. Some just really, really incredible people. Shiva Ray has a laser, a number of really high-level folks. In any event, the great man